What is a grand narrative? How can we understand a narrative, and how can we understand it is a grand narrative? So let's try to understand from a book. This is the book written by the Francois Lyotard, a postmodern philosopher and the thinker who wrote a very famous book, The Postmodern Condition, A Report on Knowledge. And in that book, he gives the idea of the grand narrative. He was actually the first person who proposes the idea of the grand narrative itself. And he also gives the theory to understand the grand narrative. What is the grand narrative? He defines it and calls it a meta-narrative. So he gives a theory of the meta-narrative to understand the grand narrative. And he presented the four defining features are the four distinguishing characteristics of a grand narrative. So he says, if you want to identify the grand narrative, that narrative must have these four characteristics, these four features. The number one is universalism. That narrative must claim that his idea is universal. And the second important feature of the grand narrative is totality. And the third and the fourth feature are utopia and authority. Now let's try to understand these four features one by one. In universalism means this grand narrative, this believes that individual experiences are universal. They believe that one understanding of the one phenomenon, we can generalize its results and can understand all the similar phenomena. And our experience gives us the complete knowledge, and through the light of this knowledge, we can understand all the similar phenomena. So it has some universal appeal. And the second important feature is its totality. It gives us the total, complete experience, because it doesn't believe on the smaller or the many parts of the individual parts of any experience or our own self even. It gives us the completeness, total experience. And third word is utopia. It gives us the idea that through our reason, through application, through understanding, we can achieve a complete, flawless society. We can achieve total knowledge. This is just like first philosopher, great philosopher Plato's concept of idealism. Through dialectics, we can achieve that ideal reality. So it gives us a complete, total ideal reality, utopia. And the last one is, the fourth one is authority. So authority means for the grand narrative, for the modernist perspective, they give reason the ultimate authority. I mean, in all the matters, in all the understanding, our reason is our guide. Our reason is ultimate authority and the power. Our reason will decide what is right and what is wrong, what is good for, what is bad for us. Everything will be decided by the human reason. And if we see from the decolonial view, we can see the British and the French and the Western powers, they give their own experience, the ultimate authority. They give that we have the total experience of humanity. They presented their particular experience as a universal experience, their knowledge for the universal knowledge, and colonized the whole world. So the Western world presented their civilization as a model civilization and asked the whole of the world to follow them. And in their colonial project, this suppresses this side, that every experience, whether it is individual or the collective of any civilization, is actually contextual. Actually, every experience, whether it is a very unique, very complete, or it seems very creative, is always contextual in the time and the space. It is bound in the time and the space. So every human experience is actually local. But Europe presented their local experience as a universal truth. But in reality, they want to colonize all the Africa, Asia, and Latin America in order to exploit their resources. And the Western power give reason and the human reason and the rationality to the ultimate reality and authority. They give the power and the authority to human reason. And in reality, the human reason is the minor part of the human psyche. But West presented this smaller part as a total human existence, as a total human reality. And in this way, they neglected the spiritual or the philosophical or the other mental experiences and experiments of the other cultures of the world. But decolonial and the postmodernism and the decolonial view challenge this view, challenge this idea of experience as a total, final, and universal. It challenges the authority of the reason, and it challenges their presentation of the Western civilization as the model and the only possible civilization for the world. Decolonial view challenge their grand narratives. Decolonial view also challenges the completeness and and wholeness of the individual and the complete authority of the rationality and the reason. Decolonial thinkers view that everything is connected and every human, every incident we are the social products, and everything is connected with other things. Nothing is separate, individual, and isolated. It takes all the realities are cultural, exist in the particular time and space. So every human being thinks and create according to the time and context, and on the time and the context. For example, the episteme and the paradigm also influences, and the culture influences every individual. So every individual is not in the real sense individual or separate from the society, but part of the whole culture. So it says every experience is local and contextual. It can be understood in a particular time and space. No knowledge, no theory is value free and neutral. It says history doesn't mean a linear progress, one event to the other, and the logical conclusion to the end, a teleological concept, but it says history is non-linear, non-teleological. It is just like a dance or the music. Colonial believes in the multiple worldviews, multiple perspectives, multiple theories, coexistence of everything. Because authority and universalism entails hegemony and suppression. So there is no authority, there is no center of absolute power. So power is distributed among many centers. We should not give center to any view, any theory, or any person and assign them the absolute power. Because nothing is free, nothing is completely independent, everything is dependent on other. So there is intertextual relationship. Marginalized thinkings, marginalized groups, or marginalized things, marginalized cultures are also as important as the center or the Western civilization, Western knowledge, and Western culture. Because everything is interpretations, we can interpret from many dimensions to a single text, to a single phenomenon, and no interpretation is absolute or last. Because if some society insists on any interpretation as the last one, it entails the hegemony. So every knowledge, so every concept, every value is a social construct. Because it is a social construct, so it must have ideological dimension.